Hello once again, people! Last time around, we checked out, what was it? Welcome to the Arena. Not the best of maps at all. It's a lot like Dog Ring was, and the fact of the matter that both are one-room constructs, and well, one room constructs tend to not be my cup of tea. Um, they tend to work best as like a tournament based environment, I guess, but it's it's kind of a weird thing, honestly, but the way I see it, it's often something that's designed as a custom level. You don't generally see one room maps being made as official levels for like multiplayer. You and normally these one room maps are also not the most popular. Um, no one room map in history has ever gained really any popularity. It's really weird because on the flip side, so many of these exist. It really is a common thing. And if you look at like the custom levels, you'll see a bunch of one room maps, which, as I said, is really strange when you think just the practical application, the fact that it's really set itself up for failure. um, I guess at the end of the day, the reason they're made is because it's simple. It's a lot simpler to make one room than it is to make multiple rooms. It's just the idea that the more rooms you make, the more things could go wrong. So you do some brush work for one room, you're less likely to mess it up compared to if it's stretched out a much further distance. Um, and that's really all I can say to really explain why exactly all these, how do you describe it? These one room tourney based levels exist. I say tourney based because it's also usually small. Um, doesn't necessarily mean small, it can be a bit bigger, but one big flaw is when you spawn, you can often shoot another player, except for the fact that usually the spawn disorients you. Compare that to the person who's already prepared in the map, they usually can see you spawn. So usually they have like a massive domineering effect, and the person that stays alive therefore gets to kind of dominate the playing field. Um, like I said, it's very funky. Because you kind of have to go out the range of like popular levels, and it's therefore rather weird that all these one room levels exist. Um, we saw them back in the days of Doom, and apparently people didn't learn their lesson for Quake. um, but honestly, I think it's something that just continuously happens because even the more modern era, like I remember when I used to play Doom 3, there were a lot of levels that were like this, that were one room maps, and it was just as pointless, just as boring. It definitely had like a improvement in graphics, but it was the same concept of being one room to fight in. And at the end of the day, that's the problem. You don't have anywhere to go, it gets very uninteresting. At least to me. And it also makes it too easy to control in a way. It allows for more hecticness, but it allows for too much control. And there's definitely some reason, which I believe I've already outlined, why one-room maps tend not to be what gets popular. You look at like every Quake level out there, you never see a one-room map generally with like high popularity. And I find it interesting, therefore, that these things exist in such big quantities. But yeah, historically speaking, the fact that they exist, we have to check them out. But they're definitely less interesting to say, uh, large scale levels with lots of rooms to explore. Honestly, the more, what do you say, horizontal the level is, the more exploration it can be, and the more, uh, it feels like you're actually going somewhere. Um, I can understand why there's a lot more verticality with the days of Quake. And honestly, verticality is good too, because otherwise you get a boring flat plane. AKA what you got in, whatchamacallit, like Wolfenstein's 3D, which is not good at all, but honestly, as long as you have some height variations from time to time, stuff like that, usually I think the best way of saying it is horizontal is going to be vertical generally. um, vertical is good to expand on the horizontal, but first you want to get a good distance in the horizontal before doing anything. And so I generally tend to prefer things that stretch out that horizontal plane before focusing on expanding their vertical. Anyway, almost 10 minutes and we haven't done anything involving the actual level. I'm still talking about Welcome to the Arena. Ain't that brilliant? Totally irrelevant information to this video. How amazing is that? You come on video to check out what this level is about. I talk about the last level I played. Hooray for organization! Anyway, I guess it does make sense to talk about it so much because, well, this level is very, very similar to Welcome to the Arena. It's Crypt'o'Death, and it pretty much is just like Welcome to the Arena. And well, the fact of the matter, that's pretty much a ripoff. It pretty much was something that was ripped off the internet. I mean, not totally a scam. It was designed a bit differently. In 2016 is one of the only ways to play it, but it's still the fact of the matter that it was ripped off the internet. It was someone else's level first. At least if I can understand my Quake history correctly. Like I said, it's a lot of trailing breadcrumbs, sometimes making assumptions, and yeah, that pretty much is the way to go at this because a lot of details have been lost to history. Quake is 20 years old, and because of that, a lot of what we had 20 years ago is pretty gone. So, and generally, with a lot of this stuff being of the unpopular opinion and never really given a chance, it doesn't get as many details as, say, other levels would. You're more likely to find a lot of info on, like, Aerowalk or something like that than the entirety of Dark Hour. And that's one of the interesting things about trying to do, like, this pack. Because nobody cares about it generally. I think like Abyss of Pandemonium gets some popularity, and well, the two expansions definitely do. But name one person besides me that really gets like a massive look into Dark Hour, Q2, any of them. Aftershock gets a little bit, but not too much, and definitely not the standalone levels. Generally, it's going to be the actual campaign, if that. So, yeah, definitely not the most variety. Anyway, let's get back on subject. Oh, and before we actually do, I should say that's one of the reasons why I don't have too much to talk about in regards to actual factual information. It becomes more based on my opinions, which generally depends. Depends how strongly charged I am by a level. It really matters. Did it do something offensive? Did it do something good? Or is it just there? And furthermore, a lot of levels kind of just end up being there because Quake is simplistic. It really doesn't have much to it to begin with, to the fact that it really doesn't require much from a custom level. And so most things just end up being not the most interesting, but also not really offensive. Um, there might be some glaring flaws, but nothing that gets in the way of actual gameplay. And at the end of the day, that's kind of the big problem. A lot of like mediocre based things that are pretty forgettable. um, it is nice to have some expandability and check out some of the other stuff, but honestly, at the end of the day, that's really how I kind of describe Quake in general. It is a lot of decent quality, but nothing that really gets highlightable. Um, it's more about the experience as a whole than it is about the sum of its parts. Like, I couldn't pick apart each level and really, like, explain why it's so great or not, like I could Thief, or even Unreal. And I think it's a basis on the fact that that Quake's levels are kind of cookie sized. They're made to be quick little things that you fly through. Usually these levels are completable in less than 10 minutes if I wasn't rambling nonsensically through all of these. Um, but yeah, because of that, it means that there's not a lot to describe about the level in comparison to something that's going to make you last a little bit more time, like some of the harder levels in Unreal, or especially Thief. Thief, every level is going to take a long time to complete, and has a lot of things for you to do in them. So because of that, there's a lot more to reflect on. Also because of the fact of the matter that it has more interaction with the environment, and it's when environments start getting more dynamic, there's a lot more to explain. Um, Quake kind of suffers from being at a time when environments weren't too dynamic yet. They were starting, but I mean, we had like Hetson, we had Duke Nukem, we had sprite games that things were more dynamic than actually Quake were. And really, Quake is kind of just a streamlined shooter. So, it really isn't the most offensive, but it also doesn't have too much to highlight. And I think, like I said, that's the best way to describe a Quake in general. Um, it's a great experience. It is a great game. I'm not bashing on the game at all, but at the same time, it doesn't have anything if you tear apart the parts of being like a magnificent level. I couldn't really describe my favorite level in Quake like I could so easily Thief or even Unreal. It's just not really a dynamically charged game, at least for me. And I feel part of the reason is because that whole lack of dynamicness, that lack of interaction with the world. Um, and you could say then look at like older games, but you could see my frustration with like Hetson and the Doom Engine features that still exist in that game. It was dying down, but there were still flaws inherent in the engine. Um, and if you look to like Duke 3D, that game has a lot of its own frustrations and was built heavily with the Doom mindset in mind. So, really, it took Quake modernizing the genre, reestablishing a lot of standards and whatnot, and really that's what Quake is great for. It really redefined a genre and made it much better, in my opinion. Um, so, at the end of the day, Quake is a game that's great for what it did, and it's also pretty good at a game. It isn't going to be anything you hate, and it actually has a good environment. It's dark, it's brooding, it has a lot to it. But I wouldn't say the actual levels are really the key component to it. As was kind of the case with Quake, design wasn't law. John Romero was at his lowest, and he ended up basically protesting after this game with Daikatana and whatnot, saying that this was pretty much limiting his ability to be creative. So, yeah, I wouldn't say Quake was a game that prioritized level design in any way, and I think it kind of shows. Um, the levels didn't get in your way and be frustrating, but I don't really think there were too many moments where it really, really shined. Just more, how frustrating was it? Was it too easy? Generally, stuff like that. But it has a lot less variables we can talk about compared to something more chaotic and a lot more intricate like later games. So, I guess at the end of the day, what I'm trying to say is Quake set the stage. It was the first piece to really future gaming and really is an important historical piece. But because of its being the stepping stone, it was not the ultimatum. And so, in hindsight, it gets a lot harder to talk about in comparison to something like Thief or Unreal, where I generally could get a lot more passionate about it. Doesn't say I can still ramble about Quake, as you've seen. I've just wasted 17 minutes! Oh my god. We haven't even talked about the level! Okay, I gotta talk about the level, people. Oh my god. I am horrible. This is what happens. I end up rambling about ideas and concepts. Um, really, if you want to look at this channel, it's a big soundboard about a lot of theories and concepts, and I think that's a big part of what I'm doing here. I'm not just trying to look at the levels. I'm trying to give a lot of opinions, introspects, and look at everything as a whole. Look at everything as a part. And, well, try and examine everything from every angle through a bunch of videos. So, yeah, even when doing this custom Quake content, what I'm basically doing is tearing away more of the layers of Quake and pointing out some other design principle I didn't really think about until construction of this video. So, yeah, it definitely has a lot to talk about, as I said. It's just more the actual levels tend to not really be the best to talk about. There's still stuff to talk about, but I definitely wouldn't compare it to like something like Thief. But anyway, I can imagine that would cause some controversy with like old school fans, but I do believe it to be a big significant change between like 96 and 98, where the world got more dynamic, more furniture was added, more things were interactable, documentation was added in the level. That's a big part of it too. There's really not much story going on Quake compared to later games. And that, of course, could be a thing. Anyway, let's actually get to Crypt'o'Death, which, as I said, is pretty much just another level ripped off the internet by Cosmosis. Just like, how do you call it? Welcome to the Arena was. So, you understand that one? That pretty much describes this one in a nutshell. Mostly it's just the actual level being different. And the description is pretty short. It's just windows and platforms lead to the crypt of the lower level. Yeah, it pretty much is the most vague description I think in all of Dark Hour. Like, I don't think that really tells you much of anything. It tells you there's a lower level, and that's really about it. Yeah. This is another relatively small level, but it has more corridor-based design compared to Welcome to the Arena, and so it generally feels a lot better than that level. I will say that Crypt has some, I don't actually know. It's been a little bit of time since I played the level, so I guess the best way to describe it is to actually play the level and say how I feel after it. And that's kind of why I'll rant before and after. Before is about more general quick concepts I think of, things that come up when reading the documentation, and usually after is introspective. What I kind of saw after playing the level that I figure like sharing with you guys. And so between the two of them, we end up getting a very long video with a lot of black screens and me rambling for endless times. But you guys getting used to it. I like doing it because it allows me to reflect my opinions more. And Quake really is kind of bite-sized, especially these custom levels. It gets to a point where if I was to try and overlay it on top and try and actually talk about this stuff while playing, I wouldn't even be able to describe myself fully because by the time I got to anything, the level would be over. Plus the fact of the matter that it is kind of hard to talk about these concepts while trying to play because while playing, you're trying to look for a lot more new concepts, and well, you end up kind of conflicting if you're trying to throw all these old concepts into play. So, there they are. They're all concepts, and they're all on the internet. Read about them. They're beautiful, aren't they? Let's do this. Crypt'o'Death. 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 Is it only like circle destruction or something? Oh, look. Bouncing grenades! What fun? Oh god! Oh god, there's a shambler! Oh god! Oh god, what am I getting myself into? Hey, babe. This is not good, people. I will say that, first and foremost, this is probably not the best of ideas! Hey! Owie! Owie! Oh, God. Yeah, everything gets bloody alert to me! This isn't promising at all. Nope, siree. Okay, kill you! Yay! Ogre's dying! I totally support that. As a maniac who loves to cause explosions, I totally support your right to do that. There we are! Kill him, buddy! You can do it! At least I hope so. You can't do it. Hurry up! He's dead. Alright, one random dude dead. Let's shoot this guy. Okay, this is a bad idea. I have learned this. Okay. Owie! That didn't work too well. Play bouncing grenade ogres. Whatever you say. Hooray! Infighting to the extreme. Where is everybody? You dead? There we are. Everyone is dead. Sweet. If we do this without the dying due to explosives, we might be doing good. Okay. Owie! Blake, run. Of course. Perseverance! That is key to survival. And now wander around aimlessly. As you see, it's a pretty painful start, honestly. It's one of the things to really say the most about the level. Owie! God, it's probably a bad idea. Did you, like, explode him? Okay, this is a bad idea. Oh, boy. Owie. That didn't really work well for me. I will say that. Oh look! Lots of death! Yay! Look at the sweet smell of carnage. Owie! Why random dog? Why is a random dog trying to kill me? Kill him, buddy! You can do it! You can do it, buddy! Kill each other, mate! It's the only way you can survive! Definitely not the easiest of situations. Bloody shamblers definitely get in my way of world domination. Oh boy, this is bad. This is bad. Okay, give me explosives. Okay, this is probably a horrible idea. But let's do it anyway, because science and survivability. Who cares? We must do it! Because, well, look what we can do. Now I could use some help. That might be a useful idea at this point, people. It may sound novel, may sound kind of crazy, but I could use some help. Let's see. Ooh, okay. Okay, let's shoot this random dog. Okay, look at the windows there. They're trying to make like a sky texture, but you can blatantly see that it's just sealed in blue walls. Yeah. Not the best of situations at all. Sad. Can I hit the ogre from here or something? Yes? Yes, I can! Can we do it? No, we can! Okay, bad idea. Let's just get down here. Okay, let's punch up this guy. Oh, good. Okay, one more dead. Down! Play grunts. Of course, they're touch on me and me not see them at all. Why would you? Who would expect to see what you're actually trying to kill? Sure not me! I'm used to that in dark hour. This could be problematic. Mainly because everyone's trying to kill me. Okay, you can kill yourselves, buddy. I won't minus this. Owie! Bloody ogres! Bloody ogres. This had to be a thing. This had to be a thing. Okay, kill. Okay. Hooray! Oh boy, this thing's bouncing off my head. Oh, this is chaotic. Oh look, guns! We like guns. We like explosives. We must use them in the best ways to destroy the environment. Hooray for destroying the ecosystem with my obsessed ways of explosions. Okay, things are dead. That's progress somehow, I think. Not really sure, but we can pretend that, right? Ooh, nothing over here, but more explosives. I can totally take that. And some random guns. Oh. Hooray! More things dead! God, there's random fiends everywhere! There's random fiends everywhere! I'm kinda concerned. I might need to explode them. My solution in life is to blow up everything. It seems to work rather well. Yeah, here's like a pointless corridor where the only real purpose is just to pick up this rocket launcher and then kill everything. Like this guy. See? Now he's dead. Ta-da! He is dead. Everything you know and love about him is dead. That's another pointless window. In case you like pointless windows. Here's a pit with lava over it. I haven't seen lava in a little bit. But, lava. Even if, you know, we can't actually get to it. But, lava. And a super nail gun that we will never use. Because, well, super nail gun. You can also jump over here if you want. Not sure why you'd want to, but you can! You can also probably jump over here! How do you like this? This is a different perspective on life. And well, the secret to happiness. The secret to happiness is not dying. Especially because there is no health packs in the bloody level! Yeah, did you notice that, people? There's nothing but guns. No wonder we had such a hard time at the beginning. A bunch of enemies come at me, including a shambler, nothing but a nail gun and a shotgun, and no health. So I would definitely say this is a bit of a rougher start level compared to Mouse. Let me get out here. So it definitely makes for a little bit of a tough start, which you could definitely say is a nice little challenge. But, I don't know, it feels like if you can control yourself at the beginning, the level becomes too easy. It pretty much suffers from Q2 syndrome. It's the exact same issue we had with a lot of Q2 levels. And the fact that it starts out pretty rough. Everything's trying to murder me. I don't have any health or resources. But then the entire level is totally unbalanced and I get ridiculously overpowered by the end. Because the fact of the matter that everything is now dead. I think why like Gauntlet succeeds is because you can't see most of the things that you can kill. And really don't have the power to kill anything until you get through most of the level. You can't really hit much on the second floor unless you use like a rocket launcher, which you have to get through most of the level to get. you have a shotgun, but it's so pathetically weak and you're gonna run out of shells that's totally useless to waste on everything above you. And the grenade launcher is totally useless. So it ends up feeling like you're a lot more controlled and constrained, and therefore it's a lot more arduous of a task to get through the whole thing before you can wipe out everything. And so it doesn't feel as dull as, say, like here, where through no control of your own, everything's trying to murder at the beginning, and then, well, nothing really left to do but pick up all the guns I could have used. It is definitely a different environment, and it definitely feels unbalanced, very unstable. Um, so yeah, definitely not the best. I do like the fact that we have some challenge up at the beginning, but I guess it would be better situated with more tough things as you went through the level, instead of just having it all packed at the beginning. Um, I mean, the levels are still short, but it's still the fact of the matter that really only like the first little bit is what really makes the level at all. um, but yeah, Crypt'o'Death is pretty interesting. The fact of the matter that it is has like a weird missing like sky texture. Actually, now that I think about it, I think Dark Hour doesn't even have a sky texture. Um, I think that's why they had to use the blue, because pretty much in all Dark Hour, you don't really see the sky ever. Unlike like original Quake, there's no real sky texture for Dark Hour. Um, so you don't get like open worlds above you like you would in original Quake. Um, and that's definitely something a lot like Q2, I guess you could say, but it's just a little subtle detail that is rather weird when you put it in with Windows. It doesn't really become that noticeable normally because there are plenty of levels in Quake without the ability to see above you. See episode 3 for introspection. But there is still weird situations like, well, what exactly is like through a window besides random painted blueness? It looks definitely forced and like it's really just like painted on. So it ends up looking a lot worse than say if there was no window at all. It's a rather weird scenario, but it's one of those where having just like some little area outside or something like that probably would benefit more than just, carving away a little bit and expecting that to basically be like sky. um, but other than that, it's a great level. As I said to begin, not really much to describe with these, but you go through them, you pretty much see the fact that there's no real balance. Um, the fact that there's some issues with the detailing, and so therefore this is a pretty flawed level in some ways. But the other end of the spectrum, it doesn't do too much that's endlessly frustrating. There's some exploration involved, and honestly, it doesn't cause a sheer tedium. A lot of like levels in the actual campaign did. You don't see the lag, you don't see the like pitch darkness. There's none of the real annoying issues that we had. So we do have an issue with balance. I'm not a big fan of that. But I definitely prefer this in the long run to a lot of what we've been seeing in the past. So with that in mind, I feel this saw relatively decent mission. Nothing to write home about, but definitely something more playable than some of the other levels we've seen. And the beginning challenge is still challenge, even if it's totally imbalanced, it means after you get past that, you'll just be bored of your mind. But that's the level for you, in a nutshell. Pretty much, you go down one corridor, kill everything, turn, go up a ramp, and you're pretty much almost done, besides a little real side area for the rocket launcher. So, that pretty much summarizes everything. Anyway, thank you very much all for watching ASP Adventure. I know I talked for most of it and really didn't have much actual playtime, but you should expect that by this point from me. I'm pretty bad with that. But yeah, like I said, this is pretty much becoming a soapbox. Definitely becoming a thing where I can project a lot of my opinions, state things. Think of this basically like a blog, talking about all my different little opinions on something. And a lot of the time, can't fit into a Quake level. And therefore we get to look at the black screen for a lot of the time. As I, talk about Quake. And all things quakiness. Is that a word? No idea! Let's call it that! Quakiness! Anyway, thank you very much all for watching ASP Adventure, and I shall see you all next time.